Hey, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper, and this is it, my last antique Christmas themed junk journal of the year. I really like how this turned out. It's almost like the best for last. But I've got these 3 glass vintage Christmas decorations here. They're really cool, and I've strung them up with ribbons that match this double cover. And the reason I'm calling it a double cover is this is the cover of one book called One Night in Bethlehem, and that is a very old book, and then it is mounted on top of this book here, which somewhere in the last 80 years somebody has painted in gold around the cover front and back, and I can tell that it's very old painting because of the wear marks, so it wasn't recently done, or the book came like that. I really can't figure it out. However, it is so fun. I added some vintage crochet top and bottom, and I really am happy with it. And let me take you on a little tour inside of this completely authentic antique ephemera Christmas themed book. So every single page and insert is somehow Christmas related. This will be in my Etsy shop momentarily, link below. And so this is some vintage wrapping paper from the 50s. This is a little piece of tape, probably from the 70s, and that was all that was left on the roll, so I put that there. I thought that was cool. A vintage tree book page, because of course it's the fir. We've got the pine cones there, and this is from that wonderful book, The Wise Robin, a Christmas story about a robin trying to build its nest. And then this is a wonderful antique book page. The chapter was called Winter, so I added that there. And I love this beautiful spread here, and that is of course the famous painting by Raphael, the Madonna and Child there. This is a 1940s children's book, a little boy making his Christmas cards. And on this side, this is a page from the 1800s, and that says Christmas Eve. And inside the pocket here, I've added a check from the Ashland Knitting Mills in Pennsylvania. And I did that because I thought, well, first of all, we buy people sweaters and knitted things, and we spend money at Christmas. So that's how I justified that. This here Boy Scouts badge, I picked that because it was red and green, and I just thought that was really fun. And I put it on a page with a bunch of little boys tobogganing. Isn't that great? This is the cover of an antique book that didn't quite make it. It was in really bad shape, so I turned it into a pocket because it's red. And then I took this vintage tree page as well with the pine cone page and added antique paper to the back for journaling. This is a wonderful antique music sheet, Mr. Snowman on one side and 2 more snow songs, on the other side. Now this is really cool. This is from 1947, so almost 80 years old, this pattern. And it is a simplicity doll pattern, a rag doll pattern. And if you look inside here, I've left the pattern in there. So really fun find. I just thought that was wonderful, and the reason I did that is because people did used to make their own Christmas gifts, and of course a doll gift for a little girl was one of the best gifts you could get. And then this is a really cool page from the 1920s, a craft on making eggshell garland, which is neat. I've heard of that before. This is a beautiful spread from the 1800s. Glory to God and in the highest, and peace to his goodwill toward men. Isn't that a beautiful angel plate there? And then this is just a fun little page from the 1920s children's school book. Another one of these little poems about a snowman, which I think is just so sweet. And then on this side is a plate from the Wise Robin book that you saw earlier. And that's the robin flying in the window in the winter, looking for things to gather from the tree to make his nest. Another little children's book page here, a recipe page here with all kinds of fun recipes for Christmas, peanut clusters, caramels. This is a wonderful vintage crochet piece, a Ukrainian piece with the flower, and I cut it so it looks like a poinsettia leaves. And this is a toy making page from 1925. And then this is from the 1950s, the Bobbsey twins. And I chose this because it, of course, a winter scene, fun sledding. I just love that pattern here. That's a little scrap piece from a magazine with snowflakes and trees. And I chose this because it was red. And that is from a library. And I love that the due date piece is still in there after the piece got ripped out by someone. This is from a 1930s book, Christmas in the Piney Woods. And then on the other side, I made a pocket, and yes, this one I've been saving all year, and it went in the last journal of the year. I think it is stunning. Again, it's another one of these rotographs, and you get that beautiful silver here and the embossed image of the holly and the birds in the bird bath, and it says a Merry Christmas. And then there's this fantastic little letter on the back, and that is from 1908. That is a real treasure. So whoever gets this journal, yay for you. And you also get this plate here, the boys skating on the pond, from 1896. And here's another toy making page, things to make and do, making things. I think those are out of potatoes. Is that great? Gifts for Christmas. Holy Night. Antique page. And this is from that wonderful, it's like Petunia's Christmas, a classic vintage book there. This is an elf from a vintage book, like Santa's elves. A little different style, but still an elf, so it counts. This is a great 1932 Boston cookbook. And here it is petite fours, and these are coconut snowballs. Isn't that great? Great little winter recipe. Fun. There's more things to make and do page here. Vintage paper here, and this beautiful vintage hanky. It is so precious. It was never purchased, but it is very old. It came out of a store unpurchased. And then you've got this really fun place to Beer Street to journal here, and under here, Engine Lane. That's neat. That is from the 1850s, that page. And then this here, I rarely do this, but I did do it here, is I colored the cardinal in. And this is from 1940s book on budgies, canaries, and foreign finches. Isn't that fun? I love it. This is Good King Wenceslas here, and that is from the late 1800s. And there's another one of these awesome full color plates here from Petunia's Christmas. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? So pretty. And then this is a waterfall journaling spot here. Home for Christmas vintage book. Beautiful little graphic up here. 1890s or early 1900s. I forget. I'm sorry. Little boys playing hockey on the ice. And then here under this antique doily is a flinch card. And I chose the number 12 for the 12th month, December. This is just a really fun needlework advertisement, and that would have been something that you would do again as a Christmas gift. And then down here is from 1890s as well, and it's about polar bears. And I've often made Christmas cards that feature polar bears. So I thought that was kind of fun, wintry piece. And then this is from 1927, Eaton's catalog, and this is men's gloves on one side and ladies' gloves on the other. They're fantastic. Like 95 cents for a pair of long gloves. Oh my God. And they're silk. Hello. And then here is a piece. It's very delicate and brittle, but this is from 1905. As you can see, December 1905. And we've got the family singing Christmas carols around the piano. I love that so much. Okay. Just a fun little antique stamp here, and I chose it because it had the red and green airmail envelope attached to it. Book cover piece. More things to make and do for Christmas crafts. And then this here is from an antique book. This chapter is called A Christmas Lady. So I added paper to the back to journal on. Here's another vintage music sheet, Christmas morning, vintage wrapping paper. This is from a 1937 5-year diary, and that is Boxing Day, December 26th. So that was fun to journal on there as well. And then this unique tag for journaling is how I received this book. This is how I do receive some books. It is just mottled and not in good shape, but I loved the colors of it with the red and the rusty reds that kind of matched the cover. So you can have fun with that. I'll just set that aside for a sec. Some Chantilly lace from the 70s there. Vintage Christmas page here, Christmas Tales. And then this really fun vintage book page or book cover here of Santa Claus. I had about 3 of these books, so they went a long way. And here's another toy making page from 1925. Isn't that wonderful? Love it. The Santa makes toys. And then I have this again from the 1930s, the story on the fir tree, and more vintage wrapping paper, and then the rest of that vintage Christmas song. So I hope you love this as much as I loved making it. Again, you can find that in my Etsy shop, hyperstamper.etsy.com, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you soon.